to ignite your future. Everyone? Let's do it. Let's, woo! Yes! Woo! All right. So now that we've established that the theme for this conference is exactly what we're here for, I want to ask for a show of hands. Do you expect or want to do that by networking and building relationships? Show of hands if you want that. Okay? How about sharpening your skills or learning new skills? Okay. How about being inspired by the speakers and the sessions? Okay, 2 hands up for that, right? It's gonna be epic. How about just because you know that there's more for you and in you, and you'd love some clarity on what more looks like? Yeah? Okay, so those are all incredible outcomes. And if we achieve all of those outcomes, what determines if any of that actually changes your life? So I've spent over 2 decades, literally for a job, creating experiences for the organization that I was with. Grew it from 20 to 800. We delivered incredible experiences for everyone from MGM Resorts to Mazda and Stellantis. The birth of my children was one of my favorite experiences, as was, even though I'm divorced now, the epic wedding that I planned. I can think of a million experiences that I really enjoyed. But throughout it all, what I've learned is the greatest experience you will ever have is the experience of your own life. What am I talking about? So the experience of your own life is not just your greatest creation, it is the source of every other creation that you could possibly ever have. So the goal isn't to have a great career, great relationships, great health. The goal is to build a life that those things naturally flow out of. Because as soon as you're loving your life, what you can pour out to customers in your experience, as a leader, as a mom, a relationship person, it all comes naturally when you're loving the experience of your own life. So why then, even though we have so many different resources, all of us are growing, all of us, and that's good, right? Like we constantly want to feel like we haven't arrived and we're seeking growth. And a lot of us are still feeling unfulfilled, even when we are incredibly successful. I'm blocking my screen, aren't I? So you don't just have to take it from me. There are some stats. I don't want to be a buzzkill, so I'm not going to read these. But what I am going to highlight is the last one. The United States is 15th out of 22 countries studied in terms of answers of how much people are flourishing. Yet we are one of the wealthiest nations in the world. So that right then and there tells us that even when we do have wealth and power and success, we don't feel ultimately like we're flourishing. If you had asked me 10 years ago if I was flourishing, everything was going according to plan. I grew that company from 20 to 800. I was making 7 figures. I was engaged. But can we be real? Can I just tell you a secret? I wasn't happy. I took a couple lateral moves with the company that I was with when I was unfulfilled. When I got divorced and I became a single mom and couldn't hack the 70-hour work days, it wasn't that bad, but it was bad. It was 70-hour weeks, guaranteed, 50% travel. And my only option, if I didn't want that grind, was to take a demotion and almost a cut in half of my pay. And I took it. thinking that it was responsible. That relationship, something always felt like it was missing, but I just kind of chalked it up to, after the honeymoon phase, that's just what happens. We hadn't had a honeymoon yet. And then 7 years ago, every plan I had fell apart in a series of several events over the course of 3 weeks. I had a company meeting where there was a giant reduction in force. My job wasn't affected, but everyone that I loved was being impacted. I couldn't imagine myself. I thought I was going to retire with that company, and all of a sudden I couldn't imagine being there longer than a year. I did take a couple years to get to where I'm at, just to free you up. This isn't like the magic pill, but I couldn't imagine being there through retirement and a discovery with that fiance. There was something missing. It was with someone else, and it had been since the day we started dating. So I had been, as a hobby, leading a life group for about actually 5 or 6 years, multiple of them. This one was really special. We called ourselves the Salt Shakers, and we were salt and light to each other in the world. And we were studying, we were growing together. And it was quite wonderful. Each one of us had something really big that we wanted to work on. And we were all working on it. And I brought the question to the group. I had a plan. I kind of liked the plan. How could it have gone so wrong? How could I have been so wrong? And one woman volunteered that she had been struggling to make a decision for years. And when she finally surrendered to the universe and asked for a sign that could tell her what to do, a sign miraculously appeared, and something ordinary, but that had arrived in an extraordinary way that helped her make a decision. And so, right then and there, as everyone else was talking amongst themselves, I put it out there. Okay, I'm going to get on all the dating apps. I'm going to apply for 1 million jobs. Universe, when I have arrived where the right job offer is there and I've met my soulmate, send me flowers. And so we continued for the rest of the night for about an hour talking. And as we were leaving, almost as an afterthought, my dear friend Abby pulled a green chrysanthemum, a live flower, out of her purse in the dead of winter in a snowstorm, and handed it to me and said, I stole it from Costco. I just felt like you might need it. I have to have that back because it's my prop, but I love you. I'll give it to you later if you want it. So at first I dismissed the chrysanthemum because, girls, I just told you what my life was like. The plan was not right. So this could not have been a sign. So I dismissed it. But I kept the flower. I hope I don't. Okay. Whew. I kept the flower. And every time that I would pass by it on my center island, I would start to get a vision of this party, actually being at the party. I visualized every one of those salt shakers experiencing something better than what they'd been working on for 3 years. I could vividly see it, and I started dreaming about it. And the crazy thing about it was, as soon as I started visioning that, the universe started sending me all these different resources and things. Everything as simple as songs or billboards that gave me ideas of where and how to throw this frickin' party, all the way to As soon as I actually booked the resort that the billboard showed me, it was in an account that was with an old email that I hadn't used forever. So I had to figure out my password and go in there. Well, guess what showed up in that email box 2 weeks later? If you've ever heard of the Proctor Gallagher Institute, I had applied to go through 2 years of their master classes. And I had given up on the dream because there was a wait list at the time. What I wanted to do was like, you had to get interviewed. 2 weeks later, congratulations. We'd like to invite you to a 3-month immersive. It's gonna take all your extra time, but you will have what most people take 2 years to do. So you see, the sign didn't give me the plan. The sign gave me the vision. And as soon as I became crystal clear on that vision, I was able to see the how, the plan. Your brain cannot recognize opportunities it has not been invited to see. And so today, I'm going to teach you, and I've developed a tool that's going to allow us to train our brain to see the opportunities. So that was my chrysanthemum revelation. Okay? So to boil this down and how we can apply it, I stopped looking for the certainty in the plan, and I started getting really clear on my vision. I started collecting light that informed, expanded, or even challenged that vision. And I became able to actually act, feel, be similar and better, not better, but more like the version of myself at my arrival. Which brings me to the tool that I have created that we'll walk through. I'm going to take a minute to teach it, and then we will have some time to write on it. So in front of you, you have a page with a bunch of circles. In the center circle, we are going to write our declared dream reality once I get through a little teaching here. The first thing that I want to do is show you that there are different types of goals that typically we all go for. The first, these are your comfort goals. You know the steps, you've just got to execute them. Comfort's not bad, but it doesn't ask you to grow. You've got your capacity goals. I bet you call them your stretch goals. You got to lock in, girl. It's going to stretch you. It's not going to stretch your identity. And then you have your calling goals. This is the life that expands your capacity. It's your dreams that you've set aside because you have no idea how you'd ever do that. But if you really think about it, you know who you will be if you ever achieved that. You don't simply do more, you become more. So I'm reading out of a guide that I prepared. There's only so much I can teach you in 40 minutes. My lovely assistant, Dara, is going to put some things in the middle of the table. There's going to be check boxes. I don't have a blog. I don't have a newsletter. I'm not going to spam you. But if you would like these guides, the digital copy, if you check the first box, those will be in your inbox within the next couple of hours in case you want, while you're going to bed tonight, to really sort of get into a lovely place. So that is the first step in what I call my CIO method. So Chief Illumination Officer. Every one of you is going to be your own Chief Illumination Officer by the time that we leave here. You're collecting illumination, not just information. And we're going for our calling level goals. Now, I'm going to show you an example of how I experienced this tool. Just as an illustration, you can get really creative. I'm not telling you this is, you have to do it this way. This is just a great example to illustrate. So before I went to this conference, that's the example, all I had written down was my declared reality. It's the one that I've been working on for about 1.5 years, and then how I feel when I've achieved that reality. So I walked into the conference with this, and that I was ignited. That's all I did. And then during the event, I wrote down the different session titles or experience titles, and I took notes. And at the bottom of your page, it actually hints. I took notes on anything that supports, illuminates, informs, and I'm going to add or expands or challenges your declared reality. Because this isn't one that's going to be set in stone. This is going to evolve. This is just a starting place. So I went into the conference with that. I took notes. And then anytime there was a light bulb moment, those mic drops. Oh, that's good. I put them around the perimeter where there was blank space. That was something that I just randomly created at this event. I want to point out, big emotions deserve big space. Bunch of stuff related to that. That wasn't anything anyone in the conference actually said. But things that were said prompted me to think of an Instagram reel where a woman was talking about that. And I trusted my process, so I wrote it down. Didn't know why. And then later in the day, we had the opportunity to go into a smash room. Each of us got a case of wine bottles to throw at the wall and smash through our limiting beliefs. No one was making a sound. They were just with aggression, and so at first, hey ladies, let's use our voices. That caused people to get some rage out. It was a fun but scary room for a minute. And because I'd been writing this talk, and I know that the experience of your own life is the most important one you'll ever create, I then was prompted to suggest to the room, what if we were to use our positive, joyful voices, laughter, something like that? And when we see the smash of the bottle, we know it's smashing limiting beliefs, but we also track the shards and know that that's the growth that comes from the breakage. And at that point, all the women started laughing and giggling. One woman channeled her when Harry met Sally. Yes, yes, yes. And I was like, okay, here we are. It was incredible. It was. Everyone else in the next room is probably like, what is she talking about? I want to be in that room. Why am I not in that room? So, but anyway, the next experience that I had at that conference, we got to go into this lovely sound bathroom where we got to just drink in all that stuff that we just did. And everyone was asked what was the most meaningful thing in the conference. And I was not the leader at that conference, but they all said, using their positive voice and how that shifted them. And so this turned pages of notes into a different way of seeing for not just me, but those around me. And that's what I want for every single one of you, for you to join me as Chief Illumination Officers, for everyone in this room and everyone not in this room, because together we get to make this amazing. And so, I want to remind you, we are looking for illumination, not perfection. And so I want you to drop your pens, and we are going to actually take a moment to think into your vision, okay? So, gonna get a little wooey on you. You don't have to do anything that I say, but I like to take a deep breath in, and as I take a deep breath out, release my hold on my plans. So deep breath in, release those plans. Start to bring to mind your arrival. Get a picture of what are you celebrating? How are you celebrating? What is the life you'd most love to live, where your business, your career, your friendships, your health, it's all aligned? And as you think of it, on the count of 3, I want all of you to say out loud with me, no, bigger. 1, 2, 3. No, bigger. So even if it's 1%, whatever you're dreaming of, I'm going to challenge you to dream bigger. Okay? Now, as we do this, some of you are going to have very clear, vivid things that you know you're going to put in this middle circle. Some of you are going to be like, I'm in the wrong room. What? I don't have a clear vision. I got you. It is more important to identify the feeling of how it's going to feel when you arrive. So if you get nothing on this paper before you leave, but how you want to feel, write it down. And when you write it down, don't just write it down, feel it. So by example, I feel ignited, and when I do, I stand taller, I grin from ear to ear. I can't help but do that. And I can feel and see a glow. And so I want you all to take a moment to feel how you want to feel. And let your body make even some small, tiny movement of feeling that. Is it a bigger smile? Maybe some of you want to crawl under the table and just take a nap. That's cool. I'm here for it. Whatever comes to you. And now I'll invite you to take a moment and just capture anything that's come to you with no pressure. If you fill nothing out, it's okay. Just maybe write down a feeling. And as we're writing, if something's come up for someone that you would be willing to share, if you have a vision that you would be willing to just get our creative juices flowing, I would love to have a couple brave souls volunteer.
Secure.
You want to feel secure. You feel secure.
Yeah, I do.
I love it.
I want to feel calm.
Calm?
What do I say?
So secure. So what does secure feel like? Is it somewhere in your body? Is it?
It's in my body, and just in a state of feeling secure that the
In your head, your body, and
my,
everything,
yeah,
right?
mind,
Yeah.
body, soul.
It feels
Alignment, like
more
that.
aligned.
Yes.
Okay, I love it. You said calm?
Calm, but that's like part of secure, right? Like feeling like stress-free, feeling like you're not letting anyone down. Like it's so many things that are like compounded into it, and your head having the stress and being calm, and your body like being tense and not having that calmness or
Yeah.
All connected.
security. It's so much is connected.
Can you feel your heart rate at secure? Is there a certain beat per minute?
I feel like it's calm where it's supposed to be.
Right?
You live a little longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else willing to share? Yay. Amanda.
Feeling proud.
Yes.
And coming off of this morning's topic, feeling joy.
Yes.
And I feel like you can really feel joy. It's in your belly, it's in your heart, it's in your head, it's in that feeling that kind of oozes out of all of your limbs. But for proud, I think I feel that one in my heart the most.
I love that, and we've already talked about how proud your dad is of you. Oh.
I just talked to him like 10 minutes ago.
I love
Day
that.
today.
Oh, it is? Yeah. Oh, happy birthday, Dad. What's his name?
Brian?
Brian, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Brian.
Who else? Yes.
For me, it's being guilt-free.
Okay. When you experience guilt-free, do you sit up a little taller? Do you smile more? Like what happens?
It's more of a sense for relief.
A sense for relief.
Yes.
So your shoulders might even just relax. I love that. I want to take one more if anyone's willing. Ooh, two more. I love two more because then I'll be back up at the front.
I said free,
Yeah.
and it's very broad,
Yes.
but it's just I feel free and light, effortless.
I love it. I love it. And I can see that beautiful smile of freedom on you. How about you?
I think we're on the same wavelength. I wrote free too, but for me, it's not a calm or peace. It's an adrenaline.
Ooh.
It's an excitement. It's a wiggle. You know, I know the things that make me feel free. I'm a writer, and I love being in the wind, and that makes me feel free and closer to even God. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It brings me at peace, but I am in my most adrenaline state when I'm free.
I love that. And I just felt like I was on a ride with you and I don't even ride. But now I want to. Okay, so a lot of us had feelings, not exactly things in the middle. I'm just going to free you up. That's cool. Because what's going to happen is throughout all these sessions, you're going to start getting that picture. And when I close this up, we're going to have a lovely exercise at the end where whether you download the digital guide or whether I just guide you at the end, you're in the exact right place. Thank you for sharing. So on the back of the tool, so we just got through the first step in the CIO method. That's the clarity. Next, we're going to do something called integration. And this is where we start showing up and asking ourselves, what would my future self do? How would she act? And we're going to start behaving and acting the way that we know she would, which we're not her. So this is going to be the hard part, right? There's hundreds of tools to get there. I've picked two that I know are going to be quick wins during this event. So first is your observation deck. So challenges are going to come up, even at a lovely conference like this, right? Someone from home, someone at work needs you. That frustrates you because you really want to be focused on this session. I'm not going to point any fingers, but maybe one or two of us might be tired or hungover. Just only one or two of us one morning, not all of them. Or maybe something someone says scares you, challenges you in a way that is like scary, right? When those things come up, I want you to go to something I call your observation deck. So a little somatic tool here. If you're sitting, sit back and imagine yourself detaching from whatever it is that's come up. I actually like to, in my mind, float up to a lovely cloud and just look down on whatever's going on. It makes me feel like I'm not in it experiencing, I'm just looking, I'm on the observation deck. And these notes are also in tiny yellow letters on your tool. So you pause as you sit back, and then you notice what's coming up, and you'll note it. In the example I have on the screen, really hard to read, I, at this conference, was at a table next to the air conditioning unit. And when it would kick on, it was so loud you could not hear the presenter. People at my table were so frustrated. The lady next to me literally gave up on life and started reorganizing her purse. Like everything was out on the table, which also frustrated me. She's also on my list. But I observed in uncritical language I didn't feel uncritical, but I wrote in uncritical language what was coming up. And then I shifted it on the other side of the page with something I call the gratitude trinity. And I love that we're in the Trinity room. So the gratitude trinity has 3 steps. The first step is to see how you can shift, grow, learn, or possibly just get through the situation. You note it, and then the important part is to not just note it, but feel it. So I noted, what a great opportunity to practice my patience and active listening skills. And I deeply actually centered into feeling patience. How does patience feel in my body? It feels deeper breaths. I calmly got my heart rate down a little. I got my arm from wanting to punch the lady next to me. I had to make eye contact with the speaker because I still couldn't hear her, so I had to read lips. And so I'm calm. And while maintaining focus, the third step in the gratitude trinity, which is the magic, is to expand that. So without going to the woman next to me, I calmly just sent her loving, focused energy, and I just kept my focus. And guess what? She focused too, and so did everyone else at my table. I'm not a ninja. It just happened because I was intentional. So that's what we're going to do with 2 integration techniques that we can use while at the conference. The third step in the gratitude, or the third step in the CIO method is the power of your orbit, your relationships. How many of you have ever done something in a group you would never alone? Oh, girl, I know. We're going to give her a drink and she's going to talk about it later. Not the one thing, I don't even know the one thing, but.
Been a couple.
Right? Right? So the reason that those salt shakers and I experienced transformational results together was because we started living in reciprocal relationship. I wasn't just their coach that read the author's notes of what I should talk about, phoned it in, did that, got pissed when one person showed up to a group meeting of 10. I loved that only one person showed up and I got to just have intentional time with her when that happened. I was on speed dial for every one of those women. I got intimately familiar with not just the stuff they told me they were working on, but the stuff they were afraid to tell everyone. And we shared that as I modeled that. We all shared in that way together to a level where then I could connect some of them so that they could be on speed dial for each other. I didn't look at it like I was the leader. I looked at it like we are a tribe, and we can and will do this together. And so what you share, you strengthen. And so there are 3 ways to move relationship energy, and it's the reason you each have 3 chrysanthemums on your table spot. I'm going to teach you these 3 techniques. And then my invitation to you is to take your flowers, put them in your purse, and at least once connect in each of the 3 ways during this event. Celebrate it by noting it on your worksheet. And if that person wasn't in this session, you don't have to mention me. This is not me trying to do anything other than teach them the 3 ways that you can connect and ask them to pay it forward. So the first way to connect is your connection energy. It is your friendships. You're just happy to see someone. Maybe you see someone that's alone or maybe even shy or down, and giving them a compliment. Something small makes such a big difference. Maybe someone's not here this year. You want to tell them you miss them, send them one of your mic drop moments so they can be here with you. Friendship energy. Next, you have your investment energy. This is where you can help someone without any expectation of something in return. So everything from you really loved a speaker, you want to tag and post about her on social media so that she gets more reach. You could offer to be someone's mentor. Like, there's a million ways. I don't have to go through them. I think you ladies are pretty smart. Then the third way is to be open to receiving. As small as when someone compliments you, don't just thank them and then pass it back to them by complimenting them. Take a minute to receive that compliment. Or even bigger, mentor. Ask for a mentor. Let someone help you in some way. Okay? So we're going to connect in all three of these ways at this conference. And then, should it feel lovely, I'm going to have 5 afterglow sessions, because I don't want to just see you ladies here. I would love to reconnect, find out how things have been going since the conference. And so that's the second part on that sheet that I handed out, is if you'd like to join an afterglow session, you can check that box. Okay? The final part on this sheet is your commitment. I don't want you to fill this out until you get home. Because all the things that are going to happen, I hope that you write that you'll return to the light and that you'll put this somewhere and glance at it so that, just like my chrysanthemum, every time you look at it, something's going to jump off the page, a mic drop moment you're going to need 3 months from now. A session notes, you are going to see in a whole new light in this business situation that gives you a whole new light. Or a connection, it's going to suddenly become an opportunity to invest or open up for help when you revisit this. And I'm not talking about studying it. I'm talking about just putting it somewhere where it's just with you. So outside of that being something that I would love for you to commit to, I want you to leave this space open. And then at the end of the event, I want you to take a trip to your declared destination. Hang out with your future self and ask her or him, what did you have to do to get where you are? What's the commitment that you would want me to make? And just free write. Again, don't focus on the plan. Focus on, in general, the different commitments that we can make to show up to another Women in Automotive thing, to get back into this amazing energy. All that type of stuff. Okay? So that's my digital business card. It's also on your sheet, so you don't necessarily need to snap that. It's right there. I am going to end with encouragement that's not going to sound like encouragement right away, and when you do this right, when you are going after a calling level goal that's a dream that you don't know how to get there, it is an absolute guarantee that you are going to hit something called the terror barrier. It feels exactly how it sounds. It's scary. You're going to think, I think I made the wrong choice. This is really freaking hard. I want you to know that means you're on the right track. Your subconscious is not yet used to the way new self thinks, so it interprets it as uncomfy when actually, when you move through it, it is going to level you up. So I don't say that to scare you. I say that to say, whether you join me at an afterglow, you message me when you're like, I think I hit the terror barrier, or whether you just find someone here that can be your buddy, that when you are going after that dream, and it gets to the point where you're in that stage, just have someone that'll remind you, yes, you're doing it. Let's get through this together, okay? How much time do I have?
2:56.
And we're done at? 2:55. Oh, okay. Well, then, thank you. Thank you for -60. Thank you so much, you ladies, for everything. I hope to dance with you at the gala. And I'm so glad that you shared your life with me. Thank you.